All I need is a rainy day.
Okay, the time is 6:30. I will call this February 27th, 2017 work session of the Snellville Mayor and City Council to order. First, we have the regular business agenda. Does anyone have any comments, concerns about tonight's agenda?
I do.
Go ahead.
I was curious, the condition that was placed years ago for the Nasty's Vision to get all the extra parking spaces, what was the reasoning behind that?
For the what?
If anybody
For
was-
what? I'm sorry.
For the
Carlin
vision?
Medical Vision,
Yeah.
I think the Vision Center.
Carlin?
Talking about
Okay.
the self-storage. Their justification was that a consultant conducted a parking study at their time and felt like they needed all those extra spaces for employees, medical reps, et cetera, expansion, and that was the justification behind it.
Okay.
And as it turned out, you know, if they needed that parking?
I've been over there when it's pretty busy, and they probably got 30%, 35%. I'm sure Dr. Carlin would tell you that he's used every space, but,
Yeah. It's full.
not all the time, I would say.
And then different question for the zoning for the higher density from the low density, or the medium from the low density. It says it meets intent of the zoning ordinance. How does it meet intent? Because when I read it, I don't see that it has the commercial district or commercial area near it. There's a park is the only part I saw that it meets the zoning intent, but then it's written over here that it meets the intent. But the only thing I saw that really from the zoning ordinance that it meant was that there's a park nearby.
What do you mean, the locational intent of the ordinance?
Well,
To
it's
be
just
located near
on
civic
the-
uses, park uses, stuff like that, close to medical, and there's some medical stuff.
Well, I guess since it leaves the definition very, very broad, is my guess is how they kind of do it. But basically, what you guys put in here, where it says this part, I don't want to read it all, but on the email where it says specifically nearby commercial goods and services and cultural facilities, amenities. I didn't really see any cultural facility or amenities nearby, commercial goods nearby,
So-
unless you
I guess
talk
we're
about
talking
nearby
about the
being.
library.
Yeah, 124,
So
the
that's
library,
it.
the park,
The park was the one I saw met.
the churches.
Because it says communities or community functions, parks, open spaces.
Masons.
Those are the two of the whole piece that I saw. But I was curious how you guys
That's in
define
general
that.
terms. You can consider close to shopping 124, you can consider, you do have the Masons Booth there, you have several churches there too as well, those are community, and mainly the park. I mean, that's a pretty big community center, just less than half a mile out.
Okay, and then there was another part where you guys brought up that for growing demographic for baby boomers, that's why it was 55 plus. Where's the data for that?
So it's all in the 2030 comp plan, that's one of the land use policies directives.
That they're changing because of
Changing demographic, and you'll hear that pretty much in the last two censuses, the last two senior censuses show that there's a growth in that category as well.
And then basically from the RHOP district requirements all the way back to right before site plan analysis. So those 2 pages, all that, is that really irrelevant because it's stuff that's trying to put recommendations, well not recommendations, but whenever a developer comes to develop that area, if it gets zoned for higher density, then this stuff doesn't really matter until it goes through them, what they're gonna do with it, that kind of stuff.
Well, the RHOP requirements are a very specific set of standards that once it's zoned, they have to meet. We just place them within the staff report to familiarize everybody with them. So regardless of what conditions they're granted, unless there's a variance given or they've asked for some kind of relief, all of these requirements will be implemented when that site goes through site development and zoning and building plan review and all those things.
Okay. I think that was,
So this part isn't irrelevant, this is how these houses have to be built.
The HOA stuff?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that's, you know, a lot of that is centers around the ADA requirements and the specific requirements that make it different from other residential zoning districts.
Okay, and that was it.
Okay?
I do believe, while we're talking about that, and there is a condition that the applicant will have to add about some landscaping adjacent to the access drive on Maple, on the northern side of that road, and then adjacent to the first three parcels, 30, 29, 28, to provide some screening to Mrs. Murray's property, which is the closest one there, which one on the left on Maple Street. So, expecting that, I'll hand that out.
That's hers right here.
Jason, you got
That's
that
it.
language for that?
I have additional other.
That was it, the other stuff.
13.
Yeah, according to the ordinance and the rezoning ordinance.
That's what you and I talked about this morning, right? That one area that's gonna be more heavily landscaped.
Thankfully, we have Leland cypresses going.
We can say everything.
Wouldn't be allowed development, if we didn't have Leland cypress.
Gotta put our mark on it somehow.
Is that in the ordinance, you gotta plant?
Well, we know you don't.
It should be. We'll amend it.
Somewhere the Leland family is smiling.
My cue from my phone.
Was that, I had to reset my settings, so my iPad's
Okay, is that
still
everything on
making
the
noises
original,
I'm
on
not
the,
expecting.
on the business meeting? Is there anything else anyone wants to discuss on that agenda before we go with the work session agenda?
I don't think so.
Hearing nothing, we'll move on. Do you have any correspondence?
No, sir.
City attorney's report?
Just need a few items for the executive session, both
Okay.
litigation and real estate.
Okay.
Did we get the signage resolution?
Okay, we have some legislative updates, discussion of proposal. I believe that,
Last email.
you all have seen the, proposed charter amendments. They're on, underneath our consent agenda tonight, so unless there's anybody that needs to discuss it, it's on there, we'll just go right through that and we'll approve it on.
Can I hand out one thing on charter?
Yes, you can.
And this is just an update. Y'all had a couple of, and this is a full set, along with along with a schedule of the events that follow. You see it has two additional hearings, and then the advertising requirements are set out so that we're all square. There are a few other things that have to be done. The body of the text, we've added signature lines that weren't on the draft one, so you're looking at what would be considered the final components of this in a final form. Yeah, there was an appointee, I think, appointments, there was misspelled on one of the headings, and there was a section, this is probably the most important edit to it, is there was the issue of the appointment of additional assistant city attorneys, and that language in 3.12 has been modified to say, the mayor shall nominate a city attorney with confirmation of the city council, and the mayor shall nominate with confirmation of the city council such assistant city attorneys as may be needed. The city manager shall provide for the payment of such attorney and attorneys for services rendered to the city. And the rest of that remains the same, but y'all recall the ambiguity of that language that created a question. I think we've nailed it down completely.
Well, it follows the same, it follows the same process though,
It
right?
does.
Yeah,
It's
it's
exactly the
Yeah,
same.
it just seems it follows the same
I
process.
have a
never
question
mentioned
with
who
that though, because the mayor and the council, the only two pays that they regulate or compensation they regulate is the city attorney and the city clerk. So when you put it in the hands of the city to make sure they're paid, the city manager, does that take away the negotiation of the fees from the city, from the mayor and the city council?
Absolutely not. It does not. Yeah, these are two appointments. When you're the person doing the appointments, the negotiation of the fee agreement will occur in advance. So the only thing about payment is what happens now, and that is, it goes in the budget
Yeah.
Yeah,
process.
that's more of a processing statement there, isn't it?
Right. It is not it is not creating a budgetary position for the city.
Okay, thank you.
Payment or non-payment.
Yeah.
Whatever the instruction may be.
It says as follows.
Okay, so that's the charter amendments. You done with that, Tony, or is there something
That
else?
was it, yes,
That was
sir.
it?
Yes.
Okay. Then we got the gated community policy and recommendation to the legislature. That's in the hands of the attorney, and there, I guess you're doing a response back to the attorney that's for the one subdivision, correct?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, Mayor. A, legislative updates? It looks like we went straight to B with Tony.
I did.
Okay.
Legislative updates, I don't know what,
Okay.
anybody have anything under that they want to discuss? I have my name on it, and I didn't have anything.
No, there's a couple of things going through the legislature today. Don't know if everybody's up to speed on it.
You're not paying attention if you're not up to speed.
Okay. And it'll speed right on by.
Yeah. I don't see any win-win there.
Yep.
Okay, residency ordinance and committee and commissions. That must be you, you have my name on it, but it's,
The, yeah,
They were Tony's.
it's Tony?
The gated community
Yeah, I
policy.
think-
clarifying.
The
Yeah,
gated
yeah, we just
community
had a,
policies. Tony's.
the issue is, I think only in one ordinance of the city is there a requirement that your commission members, be residents of the city. And I think there was some indication, that the council wanted to consider, changing those provisions to make residency requirements for your commission.
Okay,
This is just a draft where it hits on the form, it's the planning commission. It leaves the language of the recreation committee intact because it has non-resident membership.
Wait, you're saying,
Parks and Rec.
There's nothing in the charter or the code that says if you're gonna be on the planning commission or board of appeals, that you have to be a city resident.
seriously?
Seriously.
So we're just adding it in there that they have to be a city resident.
And Mr. Manuel caught that as an issue, so we just prepared a draft. We weren't,
Okay.
this was just.
well, this is something, y'all have a draft of it, just look it over, we'll put it back on the work session for our next meeting, and then if we need to discuss it at length after you read it, we'll discuss it and get it done.
I'd just like to let Lisa know, the language for the Parks and Rec Board is, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board shall consist of 6 members who shall be nominated by the mayor with the confirmation of the city council, so it leaves residency open. Okay? Because we had a gentleman just outside the city who wanted to be a very good he would have been a
We
very
don't
good.
want the entire board consisting of non-residents either.
That's right, that's right, that's up to you
It's
though.
supposed to be
Oh,
one.
yeah.
That's up to the mayor and council.
Yeah, we only have 2 boards, Arts Commission and,
Arts Commission has Has some
and,
outside seats.
and Parks and Rec would be the only two that I think would even qualify
Right.
to have someone outside the city limits to be in that position. I mean, as far as now, URA, DDA, all that, you've got some business owners within the city, so there are some qualifiers there.
Those
but-
are set by state rules too.
But,
We can't
but
modify
again,
that.
there's still a city component to it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the last thing on the work session agenda before the updates is the associate judge. I am prepared tonight to nominate for your approval Judge Reisick. I think you've all seen his CV. If anybody needs, I have a copy here if anybody would like to look at it. But we've had 3 people
What are-
nominated.
What are you looking at? I didn't get anything.
Discussion of associate judge for municipal court.
I see that, but you said you think we've all seen
You
his.
should have gotten this, you should have gotten this from Melissa months ago.
Yeah, we got
Oh,
one. Yeah.
okay, well, I had no idea we were appointing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here, I have one here you can look at. Anyway, he's currently a judge in Swanee, I believe. And he passed the clerk's test, he passed the Melissa test.
The rigorous screening test.
So if we don't-
Therefore he passed the Tom test.
So if we don't approve him, we're in deep trouble.
You can do the explaining, I'll be out in my car waiting. So I'll need an amendment to the, public meeting under new business to make that nomination and then, get that done. Anything else that anyone would like to discuss under the work session before we go to our update on ongoing projects? Seeing nothing? Sure, sir.
Okay, we've got several connecting items today. Looking at the town center working plan, design review underway. Whether you want to call that a design review or a tweaking, it is underway by TSW. You can see the milestone date, we gave them 2 weeks. So we plan to revisit that on March the 8th with some of their ideas. We also, very close to having what I call a flow chart for you guys. We talked about this at the retreat a little bit. Looking at the next 20 steps and how much money that was gonna require, moving the town center forward. I'm just about done with that. One of the parts that is not quite done, links down to business retention and attraction item. I have a list of restaurants, banks, retail, folks that we need to talk to for 2 reasons. Not just the town center, but the 78-124 project also. So that's going to be part of that. And we will, when we get our real estate committee appointed, we'll make them part of that also. But, so that's kind of a disjointed update, but you can expect that flow chart by the next meeting. And
Can you have a list of the people you want to go on that business retention committee?
Tom was doing
I'll
that.
take
Okay,
recommendations,
well, I'd like to see
absolutely.
who's on the list and let me see if I can think of anybody else.
Okay. Well, I'll send it out to everybody by Friday, and then
Okay,
anybody that want to add that, feel free to do it.
And I have a few items for that executive session.
Okay.
That if I could just have a couple of minutes during that. The joint city and county plans, we need to get the county moving. We've got to somehow get through the situation they find themselves in, and
I'm open to recommendations on that. I mean, you know, when we were at the State of the County, I went up to Tommy and you know, his mind is not there. You know, his mind's on other things, he just say, man, I'm busy, you know, and he just kinda, for the first time ever, just kinda brushed me off. I didn't take it personal because I kinda can relate to the problem. But, I didn't wanna, you know, I didn't push it, but now we gotta get around that, which is right. So, you know, if any of you know a way that we can get around it, I don't want Tommy to think and go over his head and go directly to Charlotte. I don't think that's good for us, long term. So, if any of you have a suggestion or have an in or a way to do it, please let me know, and let's talk about it before we do it, but let's investigate other options of getting there.
I'll talk to you after the meeting.
And weren't we already working with the county on an IGA? Do we have a
We
draft,
had
or
a
we don't have
discussion, but
anything?
they'd never gotten to the people that would write it, okay?
Did
Well, we have a draft.
Did we get Lilburn's?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
That
what
was
we-
offered, because that was
we've-
offered to us. Did
We've
we get it?
adjusted
we have.
a couple that were out there to our needs, and, you know, we're ready to go with that, but we need a conduit. And, that's,
And we need a champion inside the county, and right now we don't have one. That's simple.
at the leadership level. Public relations, marketing, I think there is a new video meeting tomorrow, Brian, with updating the couple of new town center videos. I know, Barbara, you've got some information that you're reviewing, some text for the Spirit magazine, an update on the town center. And there is a new city map in development. Remember the free map that had an unfortunate picture on it?
Yeah, I suggest to leave the mayor's pictures off.
We're gonna have a,
Gotta date the map.
yeah, but that's, you know, it's free, it's slick, it looks good, so that's in development. Town hall meetings, I think we all agreed last time, before we have another meeting, there has to be a clear topic, a clear message, and a clear outcome to that meeting. I have talked to DOT regarding what I've tried to explain to them, describe to them as really a big pre-con meeting. Once there's a contractor, have him come out and just have him go over the schedule, go over the traffic routes, go over the kind of information that I think people want to see. They're tossing that around internally. I've tried to tell them what I've done in the past and where contractors have appreciated that. They've had some, apparently some negative issues recently with that, but that discussion is underway. So, I'll get back to you on that one when they get back with me. The UDO, staff is currently reviewing what's called a diagnostic report, from TSW. Just to give you an idea of what this is, I just circled a couple of things here. Before the UDO can be written, the city and consultant must have a detailed understanding of how well the current regulations work today. The purpose of this diagnostic report is to review existing regulations, identify their strengths and weaknesses, and provide recommendations for how the UDO writing process will proceed. And that's what we're doing right now. We're looking in various areas. Summary of changes. Creating a modern and user-friendly code. When you look at all the sections of our development and zoning ordinance, it's not modern and it's not very user-friendly. Encouraging redevelopment. We don't do enough to encourage redevelopment in the current code. Supporting innovation, managing stormwater, enabling the town center, providing housing options, and improving design. So that's how we're pointing out areas that we need to accomplish those tasks, and we'll provide that back to Caleb, and then he will give you guys a report. But it's underway.
Butch, on the UDO issue, a guy named Paul Fricky, who's outside counsel but helping Tanel Spangler, contacted me and just was wondering if we had had litigation issues that came out of the code. that we needed to deal with in the redraft. And I don't, we just haven't. It's been, the little things like billboard, and we've had just really minor substantive, issues come up with the code provisions. I'm not familiar with any, and I just want to say it out loud to staff and you guys to see, is there something in there that directionally, I did talk to him about, group homes and those categories. But I also thought that we had done a pretty good job of adjusting to that in that last round, and we hadn't had any issues pop out from it, so.
Let me tell you, I've been here about 4.5 years, and the way
We know.
Tony, your office
We know.
works with these guys, makes a big difference in addressing those issues.
It's just,
And whether it's fireworks or group homes, or you guys have reacted well, but hopefully you'll have an ordinance that predicts what's coming and can control that ahead of time.
but
So,
if any little issue pops out, litigation matter from the past, give me a call and I'll let him know.
Yeah. The, let's see, Charter Review Committee is being addressed, the findings are being addressed, starting to be addressed tonight. Roundabout construction needs to be part of the executive session. We've had a couple of further conversations with the property owner. Oak Road Park Trail is probably 75% complete already. The contractor is doing a good job. Made a couple changes avoiding trees, but things are looking good out there. The DLT project is another part of the discussion with DOT is business information signage before and during the project. They are trying to find a way to give me the go-ahead to put up temporary signage in the right-of-way explaining businesses are open, here's your, detours or traffic flow is separate from this. This is just project information for business customers. And hopefully we can work our way through that. Christy, the outreach coordinator, I just put, milestone date, April, May hire date, somewhere in there. So, if there's anything else, let me know.
April.
Business retention and attraction, we kind of talked about that. We're working on that list, for both projects. Public safety technology efforts, Roy is working through the budget process on his body camera updates and security camera needs. HVAC, talked to several vendors. There's a lot of technical stuff there. I hopefully we'll have a report before March 27th, but given what we're going through right now, it may take that long.
Have you narrowed down a vendor yet that you feel most comfortable with?
No, we've got, well, the two most responsive have been Mallory and Evans and Thomas. What's that?
They're doing site visits this week.
Yeah, so, but I'm sure those site visits will bring about more questions. So we're just trying to narrow it down. And, the SAC rewind is where it is.
Butch, on the, back up to the GDOT internal discussion stuff.
Yes,
You said that one of the issues was temporary signage,
yes.
and we have on the agenda tonight a resolution
That's our
concerning
code,
that.
yes.
And I just wanted to say out loud, make sure everybody had seen that and was on the same page. Is that has to do with the 12478 construction process and suspending our sign ordinance to allow a certain type of sign to go in that area as a temporary replacement for the signage. And so we didn't want to change our code because we don't want to have temporary signs, but we're suspending it just like a moratorium. We're suspending the enforcement in a specific way that allows the replacement sign to be put in place.
In a specific geographic area.
Just where the construction affects the signage from the 12478 process.
And all.
Any further discussion on any topic to bring before the work session by members of council? During the work session of the mayor and the city council of Snellville, Georgia, Mayor Wicks announced that certain matters should be discussed in a closed session of the meeting and asked council to advise the city